How's everyone doing? Today I'll be doing a video on my top 10 most rewatchable horror movies. Now with all top 10 lists, this is subjective, but definitely let me know what you think of my list and what movies would be on your top 10 list for most rewatchable horror movies. Now these aren't my all-time favorite horror movies, although some of them are on my favorite horror movie lists, but these are just the ones that I can rewatch over and over and never get tired of. They have the most rewatchability factor for me personally for horror movies. And my number 10 spot is Shaun of the Dead. This is just a great zom-com, and I love Edgar Wright's take on the zombie genre, and Simon Pegg and Nick Frost are just hilarious together. This has so many just excellent, just scene-stealing moments in here that are just hilarious. This whole movie is just a fun ride, and I love the interaction between all the characters. I think that's what really elevates this movie for me. And this, again, is just one that I've watched so many times since its release, and it just never gets old. Love this one. So much fun. And my number 9 spot is James Gunn's Slither. This is a fantastic throwback to creature feature movies. It has a great mixture of sci-fi, horror, and comedy. I love the cast in here, and the effects are top-notch. Great humor all throughout, and some of the creatures in here are just super, super creepy. You have the scene with the lady who's huge and she bursts open, and then the little slither worm-like alien creatures are just super creepy. This one is just a fantastic thrill ride from start to finish, and there is a scene right after the credits as well, so make sure you pay attention and stay tuned for that. It's a quick scene, but I think it's a scene that a lot of people have missed while watching this movie. Slither is just pure entertainment. Absolutely love it. So many great classic scenes in here as well. It definitely stays with you long after viewing. And my number 8 spot is 30 Days of Night, which has become one of my all-time favorite vampire movies now. I can't believe they haven't utilized this concept before with vampires going to Alaska, for the 30 Days of Night and, taking advantage of that. I just love this one. The creepy look to the vampires, the way they talk. Oh, it's excellent. And Ben Foster in here, he really steals the show too. I love his character in here. And I love the bleak ending to it. Lots of great suspense all throughout when they're holed up in the house, when they face the vampires, when they're going into the store, you see the little girl vampire. There's so many great scenes in here. It's a dirty and dark modern vampire movie that really has fangs, and I love the way that the blood pops on the white snow. Really stands out. And I just love movies with a snowy setting, so this is one I really enjoy watching over and over. And my number 7 spot for most rewatchable horror movies is Jeepers Creepers. To me, The Creeper is an all-time horror icon classic right here. I just love this movie. Very thrilling. I love how the movie starts out with that truck all rusty and making that honking horn sound. And the look to the Creeper is fantastic. I love his movements. I love the whole concept behind the Creeper as well. And the cast really works well in here with Gina Phillips and Justin Long. And I like, when they watch the Creeper throw the bodies down and the chase sequence with the Creeper as well. So many great scenes in here all throughout. Very creepy and atmospheric. The cat scene was super creepy to me, the scarecrow, and there's just so many scenes that really just stick out, and this is one I just love to watch over and over, and I can't wait to see more from the Jeepers Creepers franchise. I hope they finally put out Cathedral. The Creeper definitely deserves a full and long franchise in my opinion. A fantastic creepy horror villain. Love his actions, the way he makes the noises, and just the sniffing, and just everything about him. Just really fantastic. And the body part scene in the basement of the church, I love that. Between the interaction of the characters and the chase sequences, there's really no downtime here. It all works well. Fantastic pacing throughout. And my number 6 spot is 28 Days Later. Danny Boyle's a fantastic director. The score really stands out for this as well. A great infected movie. Just very dramatic and thrilling all throughout. I really like the cast. They do a great job here. So many scenes in here just stay with you as well. Great dramatic aspects to it. Just a fantastic thrill ride. Very tense and taut. And the chase sequences, they have to fight to survive against these creepy infected people. Personally, I think this is a groundbreaking horror film. Very genre defining. And I really think this is one of the better modern British horror movies as well. This one is one that just never gets old. Great pacing. And just love the ending to this as well. I can't say enough great things about this movie, from the acting, the score, the directing, the cinematography, the writing. Everything works here. And my number 5 spot for most rewatchable horror movies is Evil Dead 2 from Sam Raimi. You gotta love Sam Raimi's directing style here. Great mixture of horror and comedy. And I really love Bruce Campbell as Ash. He was fantastic in this one. The way that he reacts really works here. And I love the effects. Kind of campy a little bit, but it works. In the camera style, I love the way that it's shot. Evil Dead 2 is pure entertainment, dark and hilarious at the same time. And my number 4 spot is Return of the Living Dead, another great Zomcom movie. I love the whole punk soundtrack here, the look of the characters as well. The whole cast was great in here. I love Linnea Quigley. Tarman is an iconic zombie. This one is just a great thrill ride from beginning to end. And the thing that really makes this one stand out to me, besides the humor and the fact that it's genre defining for the zombies run, zombies talk, is the soundtrack. The soundtrack is just excellent. One of the best horror soundtracks out there in my opinion. This one has palpable pacing all throughout, very thrilling and comedic as well. Great mixture there, and this one had to be on the list for most rewatchable horror movies. One of my favorite zombie movies ever. And at my number 3 spot for most rewatchable horror movies is Peter Jackson's Dead Alive or Brain Dead. This one is just also hilarious. There's a lot of comedic themes all throughout these movies. It just adds to the entertainment value. So many classic scenes in here. The lawnmower scene is just an iconic horror scene, and I love the mixture of comedy and horror in this one. And it's also one of the goriest movies ever. Probably the most goriest zombie movie for sure. And I love the interaction between Lionel and his mother and all the characters, in fact. I love the looks of some of the creatures and the way that they turn out. I love the baby scene, the rat, the mother, especially at the end, and just all the different gross creature and gore and blood splatter everywhere. Oh, and I love the scene where Lionel has the little zombie baby at the playground and he's beating it up. I just thought that was hilarious. Oh, and the head rip scene and the garden gnome scene in the head. Just so many hilarious and fantastic scenes that, you know, just stick with you and that you are just so memorable. You just keep talking about them like I'm doing right now. I can rewatch this one over and over. I watch this one a few times a year, and has to be on the list for most rewatchable horror movies. Just a fantastic, fun, hilarious, gory ride. And my number 2 spot for most rewatchable horror movies is a sci-fi horror movie, Aliens. The xenomorphs jumping around. It's more action-paced than Alien. It's my favorite of the franchise. I really love the cast in this one. Again, everything works for this one. Great suspense and thrills all throughout. The look of the creatures, the look of the whole layout of the scenery as well. Great cinematography in here. The tension is just palpable. It really works. Great character. Sigourney Weaver really is dynamic in this one. And I really love Paul Reiser as the character of Burke. A very slimy character that you really dislike, and that works perfectly here. And to me, this is a great mixture of sci-fi, horror, and action. And this movie just keeps you on the edge of your seat the whole time. Had to be on the list. And my number 1 most rewatchable horror movie of all time, in my opinion, is John Carpenter's The Thing. An all-time classic, great sci-fi horror film right here. That Antarctic research station is a fantastic setting right here. Again, with all the snow, really gives you that feeling of isolation. And I love the paranoia all throughout. You know, this alien creature that shapeshifts and can take the, you know, the form of people. I love that aspect a lot. The practical effects. Oh, Rob Bottin was fantastic here. Dean Cundy's cinematography, Ennio Morricone's score, John Carpenter was fantastic directing-wise, the whole cast. I think the practical effects still stand the test of time in my opinion. Everything about this one works for me. It's my all-time favorite movie as well, and there's just so many remarkable scenes that stay with you long after viewing. A great sci-fi horror film, and one that I watch continually all throughout the year, and to me, this is the most rewatchable horror movie out there. In my opinion. Absolutely love it. So there you go. There's my top 10 most rewatchable horror movies. Again, let me know what you think of my list, if you've seen these movies and what you think of them, and what movies would be on your list for the top 10 most rewatchable horror movies. Leave me a comment or video response down below. Hope everyone's doing well. Take care. Sublime, sublime.